The Krell Council sat in their grand chamber. The room was huge. Gold covered the walls. Lights hung from the ceiling like stars. The council members wore long robes that showed their rank. They had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. 847 star systems bowed to them. No one questioned their power. No one dared. High Commander Thrace stood before them. He was old and proud. His skin was gray like stone. 4 eyes blinked slowly as he spoke. "My lords," he said, "we have found a new species. They call themselves humans. They come from a yellow star system. They call it Sol." The council leader leaned forward. His name was Supreme Chancellor Vex. He was the oldest of them all. "Another primitive species," Vex said. His voice was cold. "How many worlds do they have?" 12 colony worlds, my lord." "Small settlements. They grow slowly. They seem peaceful." Vex waved his hand. The gesture showed he did not care. "Peaceful means weak," he said. "They are in our space. Our maps show this. Send a fleet. Make them understand who rules here." Thrace bowed. He left the chamber. Within hours, 40 Krell warships prepared to leave. They were big ships. Each one carried death. The Krell had never lost a battle. They did not think this time would be different. The fleet jumped through space. They moved fast. Soon they reached the human colony called New Hebrides. It was a small world. Green and blue from space. Farms covered the land. Cities were small and quiet. Commander Thrace sat on his ship. He looked at the planet below. He felt nothing. This was just another day. "Another weak species to crush. Open a channel," he ordered. "Let them hear their fate." His voice went out to every human on the planet. Every home. Every building. Every street. "Humans of New Hebrides, you are in Krell space. You did not ask permission. This is a crime. You have one choice. Surrender now. Bow to the Krell Empire. Or we will destroy everything you have built here. You have 10 minutes to decide." On the planet, people ran. They tried to call for help. The colonial militia prepared their small defense stations. They had 6 light defense platforms. They had 20 patrol ships. These were not war machines. They were meant to stop pirates. Not a full battle fleet. The militia commander knew they could not win. He was a woman named Sarah Chen. She had gray hair and tired eyes. She sent one message before the 10 minutes ended. "To Earth, to anyone listening, we are under attack. The Krell Empire has come. They want us to surrender. We cannot fight them. We need help, please. New Hebrides needs help." The message flew through space. It would take hours to reach Earth. The 10 minutes ended. Thrace gave the order. Fire. Blue beams shot from the Krell ships. They hit the defense platforms first. Metal melted. Explosions lit up the sky. The platforms died in seconds. The patrol ships tried to fight back. Their weapons were too weak. The Krell ships destroyed them one by one. Then the Krell turned their guns on the planet. They did not aim at military targets. They aimed at cities. The beams fell like rain. Buildings turned to dust. Fire spread across the land. People ran, but there was nowhere to hide. In 4 minutes, New Hebrides became a graveyard. 12,000 people died. Men, women, children. The Krell did not care who they killed. Thrace watched from his ship.
He felt satisfied.
Another lesson taught. Another primitive species put in their place. "Record this," he said to his crew. "Send the recording to all human worlds. Let them see what happens when they do not obey. They have 30 days to surrender. All of them. Every colony. Every ship. Every weapon. Or we will do this again and again. Until they learn." The message went out. It reached every human settlement. Videos of the burning planet. Videos of the dead. The Krell wanted humans to be afraid. They wanted them to give up without a fight. They did not know humans very well. The message reached Earth 3 hours later. It played in the council chambers. The United Terran Council watched in silence. They saw their people die. They saw their colony burn. Some members had family on New Hebrides. Those family members were now ash. The room was quiet for a long time. Then the Secretary General spoke. Her name was President Maria Santos. She was a small woman with hard eyes. "How many?" she asked. 12,000 confirmed dead," someone answered. "No survivors." Santos closed her eyes. Then she opened them again. "They looked like ice. Call Admiral Chen," she said. "The other Admiral Chen, the fleet admiral. Tell her to come here now. And tell her to bring the codes." "The codes, Madam President?" a council member asked. He looked confused. Santos looked at him. Her face showed no emotion. Yes, the activation codes. For the real fleet. The one we have been hiding for 200 years. The Krell think we are weak. They think we are easy prey. They made a mistake. They woke up something that should have stayed asleep. Now we show them what humans really are. The council members looked at each other. Some did not understand. But the older ones did. They knew the secret. Humanity had learned hard lessons in the past. Wars had almost destroyed Earth. Nuclear fire. Killer machines. Climate disasters. Humanity had almost died many times, so they made a promise. Never again. Never again would they be weak. Never again would they be unprepared. They built ships in secret. Weapons that bent the laws of physics. They spent 30% of everything they had on these preparations. And they kept it hidden. They looked peaceful to the galaxy. They acted peaceful, but peace and weakness are not the same thing. Admiral Sarah Chen arrived 1 hour later. She was not related to the militia commander who died on New Hebrides, but she had the same last name. She was tall and strong. Her uniform was black, no decorations, no medals. Just plain black cloth. She carried a small case. Inside were the codes. "Madam President," she said. "I am ready." Santos stood up. She walked to a window. Outside she could see the blue earth, so many people. So much life. The Krell wanted to take it all away. "Admiral Chen," Santos said, "activate the fleet, all of it. I want every ship ready to move. I want every weapon armed. I want the Krell to know they made a terrible mistake." Chen opened the case. She pressed her hand on a scanner. The codes activated. Across human space, lights turned on. In hidden bases, in dark corners of empty systems, behind moons and asteroids, ships woke up. Not dozens of ships. Not hundreds, thousands. Ships that had waited in silence for 2 centuries. Ships built for one purpose only, to make sure humanity would never be destroyed again. The Terran Defense Fleet was awake, and it was going to war. The codes went out across all human systems. Hidden doors opened in space. Doors that had been closed for 200 years. Behind them, ships waited in the dark. They had been sleeping. Now they woke up. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of her flagship. The ship was called Remembrance. It was 5 kilometers long. Black metal covered every surface. No windows. No decorations. It looked like death shaped into metal. Around her, holographic displays showed the fleet gathering. 2,000 warships. Each one bigger than anything the Krell had. Each one carrying weapons the galaxy had never seen. Chen looked at the numbers. She felt no joy. This was not a happy day. This was the day humanity showed its true face. The face it had hoped never to show. "All ships report ready," her second officer said. His name was Commander Park. He was young. Too young to remember why these ships existed. "Good," Chen said. "Open a channel to Earth to President Santos." The president appeared on the screen. She looked tired. Old. The weight of this decision pressed on her shoulders. "Admiral," Santos said, "are we really going to do this?" Chen understood the question. It was not about the fleet. It was about what came next. Once they started this war, they could not stop halfway. The Krell would never forgive an attack. They would hunt humanity forever. So humanity had to make sure the Krell could never hunt anyone again. "Madam President," Chen said, "we built this fleet for one reason. To make sure what happened to old Earth never happens again. To make sure no one can ever hurt us without facing consequences. The Krell killed 12,000 of our people. They did it to make us afraid. They wanted us to surrender. If we do nothing, they will do it again. And again. Until we are all dead or slaves." Santos closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were hard. "Then do it," she said. "Show them what happens when you hurt humanity. Show them we are not prey. We are not weak. We are the thing that nightmares fear." The screen went dark. Chen turned to her crew. "Set course for Krell Prime," she said. "Not to New Hebrides. Not to their border worlds. We are going to their home. We are going to show them that when you attack humanity, we do not defend. We attack back, and we do not stop until the threat is ended." Commander Park looked shocked. "Admiral," he said, "Krell Prime is their capital. Their home world. It is protected by 300 warships, orbital fortresses, planetary shields. It is the most defended place in the galaxy." Chen smiled. It was not a happy smile. "Good," she said. "Then when we destroy it, everyone will know. Everyone will understand. Humanity is done being peaceful. We tried peace. The Krell rejected it, so now they get war, and we are very, very good at war. The fleet moved, 2,000 ships jumping through space. They traveled fast, faster than normal ships. Human engines bent space in ways other species had not discovered. The journey that should take weeks took 3 days. On Krell Prime, life continued as normal. The Krell did not know the storm coming their way. Supreme Chancellor Vex sat in his palace. He drank expensive wine. He felt satisfied. The humans would surrender soon. Then the Krell Empire would grow again. Commander Thrace had returned to Krell Prime. He gave his report to the council. They praised him. He had done well. He had shown the humans their place. Now he walked through the capital city. People cheered for him. He was a hero. He had destroyed another weak species. He did not know he had 3 days left to live. On the 3rd day, alarms started ringing. All across Krell Prime, military bases jumped to action. Sensors had picked up something. Something big. Something coming out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Fleet Admiral Korath commanded the home fleet. He was old, experienced. He had fought in 50 battles. He had never lost. He looked at the sensor data and frowned. "What is that?" he asked. "Unknown ships, Admiral," the sensor officer said. "Multiple contacts. Very large. They are moving toward us." "How many ships?" Korath asked. The officer worked his controls. His hand shook as he read the numbers. 2,000 ships, Admiral, all capital class or larger. They are in perfect formation. Moving at 0.7 light speed. Silence filled the command center. 2,000 ships. The Krell had 300. Even the Krell could do that math. Can you identify them? Korath asked. His voice stayed calm, but his heart beat faster. Yes, Admiral. They are broadcasting identification codes. They are human ships. For a moment, no one spoke. Then someone laughed. It was a nervous laugh. Human ships? The weak species they had just attacked? Impossible, that cannot be right, Korath said. Check again. Humans do not have 2,000 warships. They have patrol boats and defense platforms. Confirmed, Admiral. The identification is correct. They are human. And Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the lead ship. Korath stood up. He was tall, strong. He had led fleets for 40 years. He would not show fear now. Put it on screen, he said. The screen lit up. A human woman appeared. She wore a black uniform. Her face showed no emotion. Her eyes looked like frozen steel. I am Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Fleet, she said. Her voice was cold and clear. 3 days ago, your forces attacked our colony of New Hebrides. You killed 12,000 of our people, men, women, and children. You did this to make us afraid. You wanted us to surrender. You made a mistake, she leaned forward. Her eyes seemed to look right through the screen. Right into Korath's soul. We are not afraid. We are angry. You wanted to teach us a lesson. So now we will teach you one. You will learn what happens when you attack humanity. You will learn that we do not forgive. We do not forget. And we do not stop until the threat is ended. Completely. Korath found his voice. This is the home system of the Krell Empire, he said. You are surrounded by our fleets and defenses. Leave now or be destroyed, Chen smiled. It was a terrible smile. You have 1 hour to evacuate all civilian ships from this system. After that, we will destroy every military target we find. Your fleet, your orbital fortresses, your weapons platforms, everything. You attacked our civilians. We will not attack yours. But your military ends today. This is your only warning. The screen went dark. Korath stared at the empty screen. Then he started giving orders. He called all ships to battle stations. He activated the orbital defenses. He sent an emergency message to the council. He did everything right, it would not matter. The hour passed. Civilian ships fled the system. Merchant vessels, passenger ships, transport freighters. They ran as fast as they could. The human fleet did not stop them. They let them go. Then the hour ended. Admiral Chen gave one order. Engage. The human fleet moved forward. They did not rush. They did not charge. They advanced like a wall of black metal, steady, unstoppable, like death itself moving through space. The Krell fleet opened fire first. Hundreds of plasma cannons lit up the void. Blue beams that could melt mountains shot toward the human ships. The Krell had used these weapons for 10,000 years. They had never failed. They failed now. The beams hit the human ships, but they did not pierce the hulls. They did not even scratch the paint. The beams hit something invisible around each ship, shields, but not normal shields. These shields bent space itself. The energy weapons simply curved around the ships and flew off into empty space. On his command ship, Korath watched in horror. Hundreds of direct hits, zero damage. How is that possible? He whispered. Then the human ships fired back, and Korath learned that humanity had spent 200 years preparing for this moment. The human weapons were unlike anything the Krell had ever seen. They did not use plasma or lasers. They did not use missiles or torpedoes. They used physics itself as a weapon. The first volley came from the front line of human ships. Bright flashes of light, but these were not energy beams. These were solid projectiles. Metal rods accelerated to 99% of light speed. Relativistic kill vehicles. Each one hit with the force of a nuclear bomb. The Krell shields tried to stop them. But shields were made to stop energy weapons. These rods were solid matter moving at impossible speeds. They punched through shields like they were not there. They hit Krell warships and went straight through, out the other side, leaving holes 10 meters wide. In the first minute of battle, 40 Krell ships died, simply ceased to exist, blown apart by kinetic energy. Their crews had no time to escape, no time to even understand what killed them. Admiral Korath watched his fleet die. He could not believe it. His ships were exploding faster than his sensors could track. All ships evasive maneuvers. He shouted, "Return fire! Everything we have!" The Krell fleet tried to dodge. But the human targeting was perfect. Computer systems that thought faster than any organic mind. They predicted where each Krell ship would move. The projectiles were already there waiting. The Krell fired back. Everything they had. Plasma cannons, particle beams, nuclear missiles. The void filled with deadly light. Enough firepower to destroy a planet. All of it aimed at the human fleet. Nothing touched them. The human shields bent space around each ship. The weapons curved away. The missiles lost their lock and flew past into empty space. The humans moved through the barrage like it was not even there. Then the second wave of human weapons arrived. These were different, smaller, millions of them. They looked like dust clouds on the sensors. But they were not dust. They were nanites, microscopic machines, each one smaller than a grain of sand. The clouds spread out. They touched Krell ships. At first nothing happened. Then the hulls started to dissolve. Metal turned to powder. Systems failed. Entire warships began to fall apart. Not from explosions, from being eaten. The nanites were taking them apart molecule by molecule. Crews tried to escape in life pods. The nanites followed. Some pods made it away, but many did not. They became clouds of dust drifting through space. On the planet below, Supreme Chancellor Vex watched from his palace. Giant screens showed the battle. He saw his mighty fleet being destroyed, ships that had ruled the galaxy for centuries. "Gone in minutes, this cannot be happening," he whispered. They were supposed to be weak, primitive. How do they have such weapons? An aide stood beside him, young, terrified. "Chancellor," the aide said, "we must evacuate. The palace is not safe. If the fleet falls, they will come for us." Vex did not move. He stared at the screens, at the death of his empire. "We have ruled for 10,000 years, he said. 10,000 years of conquest, of power. How can it end like this? How can it end in one day? In orbit, Admiral Korath knew the battle was lost. Half his fleet was gone. The orbital fortresses were firing, but their weapons were useless against the human shields. The humans destroyed them one by one, massive installations that had stood for millennia, reduced to scrap metal in seconds. Korath opened a channel to the human fleet. He did not know what else to do. Maybe he could buy time. Maybe he could negotiate. Admiral Chen appeared on his screen. Her face showed no mercy, no compassion, just cold determination. "I surrender," Korath shouted. "Stop the attack." "We surrender!" Chen looked at him for a long moment. "Did you offer our people a chance to surrender at New Hebrides?" she asked. Korath said nothing. They both knew the answer. "I will accept surrender," Chen said. "But only from the Krell Council, the government that ordered the attack. Your military forces must be completely destroyed. Every warship, every weapon platform, every military base in this system. That is non-negotiable. After that, we will talk about terms. But that will leave us defenseless. Korath protested. Chen's expression did not change. Yes, she said simply. Order your ships to power down and evacuate. We will not fire on unarmed escape pods, but every ship that keeps fighting will be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to comply. The screen went dark. Korath looked at his remaining ships. Less than 100 left, against 2,000 humans. There was no choice. Not really all ships, he said. His voice was heavy, defeated. Power down weapons. Abandon ship. This is over. One by one, the Krell warships went dark. Escape pods launched like seeds from dying trees. The human fleet did not fire on them. They kept their word. But as each Krell ship emptied, a human warship fired once. The empty hulls exploded. Silent flowers of fire in the void. In 4 hours it was done. The Krell home fleet no longer existed. 300 warships. Dozens of orbital fortresses. Hundreds of defense platforms. All destroyed. The wreckage formed a ring around Krell Prime. A monument to their defeat. Admiral Chen stood on her bridge. She felt tired, old, she had won. But there was no joy in it. Only the weight of all those deaths. Krell deaths. Her hands were covered in blood now. Even if it was the blood of enemies, Commander Park approached her. Admiral, he said. The Krell Council is requesting communication. They want to negotiate surrender. Chen nodded. Open the channel, she said. Supreme Chancellor Vex appeared on screen. He looked smaller now, older. The pride was gone from his eyes. Only fear remained. Admiral Chen, he said. His voice shook. We wish to discuss terms of surrender. Chen looked at him. This was the being who had ordered the attack on New Hebrides, who had killed 12,000 humans without thought, who had ruled through fear and conquest for centuries. The terms are simple, she said. Complete military disarmament. All Krell warships in all systems. All weapons platforms. All military installations gone. You will be allowed to keep police forces for internal security. Nothing more. That is impossible, Vex said. We have tributary states, pirates, enemies. Without a military, we will be destroyed. Should have thought of that before you attacked us, Chen said. Her voice was ice. Second term. War crime tribunals. You and everyone who ordered the attack on New Hebrides will face trial. Human judges. Human law. If found guilty, you will face human justice. This is outrageous. Vex shouted. We are the Krell Empire. We do not bow to primitive species. Chen leaned forward. Look around you, Chancellor, she said. Look at what remains of your fleet. Look at your burning orbital defenses. You are not an empire anymore. You are a defeated enemy, and you will accept our terms. Or we will move to the next system, and the next, until every Krell military asset in the galaxy is destroyed. The choice is yours. But choose quickly. My patience has limits, Vex looked at her. At the destroyed fleet, at the future of his people. He had no choice. He had never really had a choice. From the moment he ordered the attack on New Hebrides, this outcome was inevitable. We accept, he said. The words tasted like poison. We surrender. Chen nodded. Good, she said. But the war is not over. Your tributary systems still have your fleets. Your military bases still exist across hundreds of worlds. We are going to visit every single one, and we are going to make sure they understand the same lesson you just learned. That humanity is not prey. That when you attack us, we do not defend. We destroy. Completely and absolutely. The screen went dark. Chen turned to her crew. Send orders to the fleet, she said. We move to the next system in 6 hours. We do not stop until every Krell warship in the galaxy is destroyed or surrendered. This empire took 10,000 years to build. We are going to tear it down in 3 months. And they did. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Krell Empire, rulers of space for 10,000 years, had been defeated. Defeated by a species no one had heard of 6 months ago. Defeated in one battle. Defeated so completely that nothing remained of their mighty fleet. Other species watched in shock and fear. The Krell had seemed unstoppable. If they could fall so fast, what did that mean for everyone else? The human fleet did not stop at Krell Prime. They moved through Krell space like a storm. System after system. World after world. They gave the same message everywhere. Surrender your military. Face war crime trials if you ordered attacks. Or be destroyed. Most surrendered. They saw what happened at Krell Prime. They were not fools. But some tried to fight. Local governors who thought they could win. Military commanders who believed the reports must be wrong. Pirates who thought humans were easy prey. They learned. Painfully, the Battle of Tarkonis became famous. Tarkonis was a fortress world. Massive walls, underground bunkers, weapon systems built into the planet itself. The Krell had gathered their remaining fleet there. Almost 2,000 warships. They thought they could hold. They thought they could make the humans pay. Admiral Chen arrived with her full fleet. She broadcast her usual message: surrender or be destroyed. The Krell commander refused. He said humans had been lucky at Krell Prime. He said this time would be different. He was right. This time was different. This time was worse. The humans brought new weapons. Singularity missiles. Each one created a tiny black hole. Not big enough to destroy a planet, but big enough to swallow a warship. The missiles flew into the Krell formation. Space twisted. Ships were pulled apart, crushed, compressed into nothing. 20 ships gone in the first minute. Then the humans used causality disruptors, weapons that made reality break down. Ships hit by these weapons simply stopped existing. Not destroyed, not blown up, just gone. As if they had never been built. Their crews never born. Their history erased. It was a weapon that broke time itself. The Krell fleet tried to fight back. They fired everything. Nuclear weapons, antimatter bombs, planet-killer missiles. The humans shot them all down, or let them hit the shields and do nothing. The human defenses were perfect. The human weapons were unstoppable. The battle lasted 8 hours. When it ended, 1,847 Krell ships were destroyed. The humans lost 23 ships, 23, against almost 2,000. The math was clear. The message was clear. Humans were not just winning, they were dominating. One Krell commander survived the battle. His name was Voth. He was an intelligence officer, smart, careful. He had watched from the edge of the battle. He had studied the humans. And he understood something others did not. After the battle, he returned to what was left of the Krell Council. They met in a bunker now, deep underground, hiding from the humans who hunted them. We must understand what we face, Voth said to the council. We thought humans were prey animals. We were wrong. What do you mean? A council member asked. I have studied their history, Voth said. Their homeworld. They call it Earth. It is a death world, a planet where almost everything wants to kill you. Predators everywhere, diseases, natural disasters. Their species should have died long ago, but they did not. They survived. They became the apex predator of their world. He pulled up images, videos from Earth, lions hunting, sharks swimming, earthquakes, hurricanes, war. They did not just survive their world, Voth continued. They survived each other. They fought wars among themselves, terrible wars, nuclear weapons, biological weapons. They almost destroyed themselves, multiple times, but they learned. They adapted. They became stronger. So what? Another council member said. What does this tell us? Voth looked around the room, at the scared faces, at the defeated leaders. It tells us that humans fight like prey animals who became hunters, he said. They do not fight for territory. They do not fight for resources. They fight for survival. They fight so this can never happen to them again, and that means they will not stop, ever, until the threat is completely gone, until we cannot hurt them anymore, until we do not exist as a military power. The room was silent. They spent 200 years preparing for this, Voth said. 200 years building weapons in secret. 30% of all their resources went to military preparation. They looked peaceful. They acted peaceful. But they were never truly peaceful. They were just waiting, hoping they would never need these weapons, but ready to use them if necessary. What are you saying? Bex asked. The Supreme Chancellor looked old now, broken. I am saying we made the worst mistake possible, Voth said. We woke up a sleeping monster. We hurt them. We killed their people, and now they will not rest until we pay. We cannot fight them. We cannot hide from them. We can only accept their terms and hope they show mercy. As Voth spoke, the human fleet continued its work. System by system, week by week. The Krell Empire had 847 systems. The humans visited all of them. Some surrendered peacefully. Some fought. None won. The tributary species that had served the Krell for centuries saw their chance. Many rebelled. They joined the humans. They gave information about Krell bases, Krell fleets, Krell hiding places. The Empire collapsed from within as well as without. Other galactic powers watched. The great civilizations, the old kingdoms. They sent diplomatic envoys to humanity, not threats, not demands. Polite requests for meetings, offers of trade, proposals for alliances. The message was clear. No one wanted to be the next Krell. No one wanted to face the human war machine. Better to be friends with the monsters than their enemies. 60 days after the attack on New Hebrides, the Krell military ceased to exist. Every warship captured or destroyed. Every military base dismantled. Every weapon platform disabled. The empire that had ruled for 10,000 years was gone. Not destroyed completely. The Krell people still lived. Their world still existed. But their power was broken. Forever. 90 days after the war began, it ended. The Krell Council surrendered formally. They signed treaties. They accepted occupation. They agreed to war crime trials. Supreme Chancellor Vex and all the military commanders who attacked New Hebrides were arrested. They would face human justice. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Remembrance. She looked at the reports. The final numbers. 3,200 Krell warships destroyed or captured. 400 human ships lost. Millions of Krell military personnel dead. 8,000 human crew members killed in battle. The numbers felt heavy. So much death. So much destruction. All because the Krell attacked one human colony. All because they thought humans were weak. Commander Park approached her. "Admiral," he said. "President Santos is requesting communication. She wants to know when we will return to Earth." Chen nodded. "Tell her soon," she said. "We have one more thing to do first." The human fleet returned to New Hebrides, the colony where it all began. The world was still scarred. Burned cities, melted defense platforms, but people were returning. Colonists who had fled, engineers, builders, they were rebuilding, making it whole again. Chen went down to the surface. She walked through the ruins. She saw the memorial they had built. 12,000 names carved in stone. The dead of New Hebrides. The reason for everything that followed. She placed her hand on the stone. It felt cold, final. "We did what we promised," she whispered to the names. "We made them pay. We made sure this can never happen again. I hope it was worth it. I hope you can rest now." But she did not know if that was true. Victory felt hollow. The war was won. The enemy defeated. But at what cost? Humanity had shown the galaxy what they were capable of. They had shown they could destroy an empire in 90 days. They had become the thing everyone feared. Was that good? Was that bad? Chen did not know. She only knew it was necessary. The Krell had given them no choice, and humanity had responded the only way they knew how, with overwhelming force, with complete destruction of the threat. She turned away from the memorial, walked back to her shuttle. The war was over, but the consequences were just beginning. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. They would never make the mistake the Krell made. They would never underestimate humans. They would never attack without expecting total war in return. Maybe that was good. Maybe peace through strength was the only peace that lasted. Maybe the galaxy needed to fear humanity to leave them alone. Or maybe they had just created new enemies, new threats, new reasons for conflict only time would tell. 5 years passed. The galaxy was different now. Changed. The Krell Empire no longer existed. In its place were dozens of smaller governments. Independent worlds. New alliances. The species that had been under Krell rule were free now. Some thanked humanity. Some feared them. Most did both. On New Hebrides, life had returned. The burned cities were rebuilt. Better than before. Stronger. The people who lived there remembered. Every building had a plaque. Every street corner had a memorial. 12,000 names that would never be forgotten. A young girl walked to school. Her name was Maya. She was 7 years old. Born after the war. She had never known the old New Hebrides. Only this one. The one that rose from the ashes. Today was history class. Her teacher, Mr. Walsh, was old. He had been here during the attack. He survived because he was off-world that day. But his family did not. His wife, his daughter. Both of their names were on the memorial. "Today we learn about the war," Mr. Walsh said. His voice was quiet, sad. About what happened here, about what we lost, and about what we became. He showed them videos. The Krell fleet arriving, the ultimatum, the attack. The children watched in silence. Some cried. Maya held her friend's hand. She could not imagine it, could not picture her home burning, everyone dying. The Krell thought we were weak, Mr. Walsh said. They thought they could hurt us and we would surrender. They were wrong. What they did not know is that humanity had prepared for this. For 200 years, we built weapons in secret, ships that could destroy empires. We hoped we would never need them. But when the time came, we were ready. He showed them more videos. The human fleet, the Battle of Krell Prime, the destruction of the Krell military. The children watched with wide eyes. The ships looked like monsters, black and terrible, powerful beyond imagination. In 90 days the war was over, Mr. Walsh said. The Krell Empire fell. 10,000 years of history gone because they attacked us, because they thought we were easy prey. They learned the truth. Humanity does not forgive. Humanity does not forget. And humanity does not stop until the threat is ended. Maya raised her hand. Yes, Maya? Mr. Walsh said. Were we the bad guys? She asked. We destroyed their whole empire. We killed so many of them. Does that make us bad? Mr. Walsh looked at her. At all the children. This was the hard question. The one without easy answers. I do not know, he said honestly. The Krell attacked us first. They killed 12,000 people, innocent people. They wanted to make us afraid. So we responded. We made sure they could never hurt anyone again. Was that right? Was that wrong? History will decide. But I can tell you this. We did not want to be monsters. We tried to be peaceful. We tried to live quietly. But when someone attacks you, when they kill your people, you have two choices. You can let them do it again, or you can stop them permanently. The children were quiet, thinking. Maya looked at the video still on the screen. The black ships, the destroyed Krell fleet, so much death. The important lesson, Mr. Walsh said, is this. The galaxy knows now. They know what happens when you hurt humanity. They know we are not weak. They know we are not prey. And because of that, we have been at peace for 5 years. No one has attacked us. No one has threatened us. They are afraid. And sometimes being feared is what keeps you safe. Far away on Earth, Admiral Sarah Chen walked through the gardens. She was retired now. The war was over. The fleet was smaller, still strong, still ready, but not needed right now. Peace had come. Uneasy peace, but peace nonetheless. She stopped at a fountain, sat on a bench. She was old now. Gray hair, tired eyes. The weight of command had left her, but the weight of memory remained. A young officer approached. A lieutenant, fresh from the academy, bright-eyed, eager. Admiral Chen, the lieutenant said. I am sorry to bother you, but I wanted to meet you, to thank you. My family was on New Hebrides. My grandparents. They died in the attack. You avenged them. You made the Krell pay. Thank you. Chen looked at the young officer. So much hope in those eyes. So much faith. I did what was necessary, Chen said. But do not thank me for it. War is not something to celebrate. Even when you win. Especially when you win. Remember that when you command ships. When you give orders. Every death matters. Every life lost. Ours and theirs. Never forget the cost. The lieutenant nodded. But Chen wondered if she understood. If anyone who had not been there could understand. The terrible necessity of it all. The burden of being the one who gives the order to kill thousands, millions, to destroy an empire. In a classroom on the Krell homeworld, now called simply Krell, a teacher spoke to students. Young Krell, born after the war, they learned about the old empire, about the mistakes their leaders made, about the price of arrogance. The teacher was Commander Voth. He had survived. He had testified at the war crime trials. He had told the truth about what happened, about how the Krell underestimated humanity, about how pride led to destruction. Because of his honesty, he was spared, given a chance to rebuild, to teach. We called it the 90 Days War, Voth said to his students. 3 months. That is how long it took for the humans to destroy everything we had built in 10,000 years. They did not do it because they wanted conquest. They did not do it for resources or territory. They did it because we attacked them first, because we killed their people, and they could not let that go unanswered. A student raised her hand. Are humans evil? She asked. Voth thought about this. He had spent 5 years thinking about it. No, he said. They are not evil. They are survivors. Their world tried to kill them. Their own wars almost destroyed them. But they endured. They learned. They built weapons that could end civilizations. But they kept them hidden. They acted peaceful. They were peaceful until we forced them to show their true nature. What is their true nature? Another student asked. Protection, Voth said. They protect their own, absolutely, completely. They will do anything to keep their people safe, anything. And that includes destroying anyone who threatens them. The lesson we learned, the lesson the galaxy learned, is simple. Never wake a sleeping death worlder. Never attack humanity. Because they do not defend. They destroy. And they do not stop until the threat is gone. Forever. The classroom was quiet. The students absorbed this. A new generation learning from old mistakes. Learning to respect humanity. Learning to fear them. Learning never to repeat what their ancestors did. Across the galaxy, humanity continued its work. Building, trading, exploring. They signed treaties with other species. Made alliances. Established embassies. They acted like any other civilization. Peaceful, friendly, reasonable, but everyone knew. Everyone remembered. The Black Fleet still existed. Hidden again. Waiting. Ready. 2,000 warships with weapons that could break reality itself. Sleeping. Hoping never to wake again, but ready if needed. Peace through strength, fear through demonstration, safety through overwhelming force. This was humanity's way now. They did not want to be monsters. But they had shown they could be if necessary. And the galaxy would never forget. On New Hebrides, the school day ended. Maya walked home. She thought about the lesson. About the war. About the price of peace. She did not fully understand it yet. She was only 7. But she would. As she grew older, as she learned more, she would learn that sometimes being kind means being strong, that sometimes protecting your people means being feared, that sometimes peace requires the threat of war. Hard lessons. Adult lessons, but necessary ones. She passed the memorial on her way home. 12,000 names. She stopped and read a few. She did this every day. Mr. Walsh said it was important to remember, to honor them, to make sure their deaths meant something. And they did mean something. They meant humanity would never be caught unprepared again. They meant the galaxy would think twice before attacking human colonies. They meant peace. Fragile peace. Fearful peace. But peace nonetheless. Maya touched the stone, cold under her fingers. Then she continued home. Tomorrow there would be school again. More lessons. More history. More learning about who humanity was, what they had done, what they could do. And across the galaxy in 1,000 different classrooms in 100 different languages, children learned the same lesson. The lesson that would echo through history. The lesson that would prevent future wars. Never wake a sleeping deathworlder. Never attack humanity without understanding the cost. Because when you hurt them, they do not forgive. They do not forget. And they do not stop until the threat is ended. Completely. Absolutely. Forever. That was the legacy of the 90 Days War. That was the price the Krell paid for their arrogance. That was the reason the galaxy was at peace. Not because humanity wanted war, but because they had proven they were better at it than anyone else. And sometimes being the best at something means never having to use it again. The Black Fleet slept. Humanity lived in peace, the galaxy remembered, and the lesson endured. Never again would anyone make the mistake the Krell made. Never again would anyone see humanity as weak. Never again would anyone attack a human world and expect to survive. The war was over. The peace had begun, and both would be remembered forever.